And let's get started. All right, so repetition is the mother of learning. So if I'm being a little bit repetitive, it's intentional, all right? And for the 25, 26 of you that are on Zoom, thank you so much for being here. And for Clarissa, my one and only in the room, Clarissa, it's great to just hang out with you.
I know,
right?
No, especially since I've been away, it's so good to be back.
Well, there you go. It's just me and you. All right, so you're talking to a seller. The seller lives in a subdivision, and that subdivision is surrounded by an area of, let's say, 2 to 3 miles. It could be 1 to 2 miles. It could be 3 to 4 miles. It's based on where are we attracting buyers for our subject property. Now, we look at the comparables and we bring every comparable, every property that's sold in the last 6 months, we're going to bring to the listing appointment. We're going to pull tax records so that we get any for sale by owners that sold in the last 6 months, because we're not going to leave any stones unturned. Script. However, when we meet, still script, we're going to go through all of these properties that sold in the last 6 months, and some of them may be comparable and some won't. But I brought everything because I don't want to leave any stones unturned. Again, script, write it down. Now, why is this so important? Because if you don't bring a property because you know it's not comparable, then you don't bring it with you. You're going to be sitting at the kitchen table and Mr. and Mrs. Seller is going to say, what about the property around the corner that sold last month for $750,000? You don't have it with you, so you don't look prepared, and you don't have the opportunity to share with them, yes, I've got that, and I'm looking at it right now, and it's really not comparable because your home is 2,800 square foot and that property is 4,000 square foot. So we're not using that in order to determine where we need to be in order to get your home sold. Remember, we're making an observation and a forecast. The observation is, where is the market at? Where do we need to be priced in order to get your home sold in the next 30 days? And by the way, a point on that, it's always within the next 30 days. And here's why, because there are going to be a number of properties that sell every 30 days. And in order to get their property sold, it has to sell in the next 30 days. If it's not sold 30 days from now, then it's got to sell in the next 30 days after that. And if there's 5 properties selling every 30 days, you've got to be one of the 5. So the observation is, where do we need to be in order to be one of those 5 properties that are going to sell in the next 30 days. Now, the forecast is, where is the market going? How quick is it moving? Where is it going to be 6 months from now? Now, once we get an idea, we get a price range of where this property should be priced. And I'm going to show you exactly how I do that when I'm sitting down with a seller. First of all, I'm going to show them all of the comparables. And then we're going to identify 2 or 3 or 4 comparables that are the best comparables for their property. And best comparables, comparable in location, comparable in size. They have a 2,800 square foot home. Ideally, I'm looking for properties that are anywhere between 2,600 and 3,000 square foot. And comparable in age, comparable in condition. And I'm simply going to pull out my legal pad and I'm going to say, okay, we have one of those properties, one of the 4 comparables we're looking at that sold for $745,000. There's another one that sold for $735,000. And then there's one that sold for $755,000. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, based on these 3 comparable properties that we both agree are as close to being perfect matches to your home as possible, where do you think we need to be in order to get your home sold? Now, did I recommend a price? Say no.
No.
What price do you think they're going to pick? 755, 35, or 45?
55. 755.
And what's funny is the answer is none of them. They're gonna say, well, my home is better. The highest sold for $755, add another 5 there. And I believe that we can get 775,000 because I'm listening to the media and the media says the market is super hot, prices are going up, there's a shortage of inventory, and besides, my home is the best home in the neighborhood. Seller script, write it down. Now, all I want you to do is simply say, okay, let's look at supply and demand. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at supply and demand from 700 to 750. And we're going to look at supply and demand from 750 to 800,000. Now remember, the number they wanted is 775. So we're going to start in that market, and we're going to say, all right, so in that area of 2 to 3 miles around your property, that's the geographic area that we're looking at. For single family homes priced between 750 and 800,000, we currently have 21 active listings. All right. Get that closer. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Time out for a second while I change the lights, because those lights give us too much glare.
We can see it, John.
Is that better or worse, Shirley?
That's good.
Fine.
Okay, we're good. All right, so we have 21 homes that sold in the last, or 21 properties that are currently active. Cool. That's your competition. Now, in the last 90 days, there's been 18 that have sold. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take those 18 properties, we're going to take B divided by 3. We're going to take the number of homes that sold divided by 3. And the reason we're doing that is because we went back 90 days in our search. And 18 divided by 3 equals 6. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I think my math is right. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the number of active properties. We're going to take A divided by C, or 21 divided by 6, and that's 3.5 months of inventory. So the supply is 3.5 months. In order to sell your home in this price range, or in order to get $775,000, you have to be one of the 6 properties that are selling every 30 days, and there's 21 to choose from. Now, let's take a look at the market between $700,000 and $750,000. We have 18 properties that are currently active. In the last 90 days, there's been 24 that have sold. And we're going to take 24 divided by 3, and that equals 8. So we have 8 properties selling every 30 days. Now we're going to take the number of active listings, 18 divided by 8, and that's a 2.5 month supply of inventory. So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, from $750,000 to $800,000, we have a 3.5 month supply of inventory. That's a seller's market. Great news. Awesome. And in order to sell your home in this price category, you're going to have to be one of the top 6 homes. And there's 21 to choose from. So in order to sell your home, we've got to beat the competition. And I'm sitting at the kitchen table with a legal pad. Zig Ziglar calls it our thinking pad. And I'm drawing this and I'm writing this as I'm speaking to them. So this is our competition. We've got 6 homes that that are selling every 30 days. So in the next 30 days, there's going to be 6 that are sold. Cool. Now, from 700 to 750,000, we have 18 homes that we're competing against, and there's 8 selling every 30 days. In order to sell your home in this price range, you got to be one of the top 8 properties that sell in the next 30 days. Now, here's my next question. Where do you have the best chance of being the shining star in competing against properties that are priced 750 to 800 and being one of the top 6, or competing against properties that are priced from 700 to 750 and being one of the top 8. Is it possible that we've got motivated sellers in both price categories? The answer is yes. Is it possible that there are sellers between 750 and 780 who are more motivated than you are? The answer again is yes. And if we have sellers in that price category that are more motivated, is it possible we have 6 out of 21 that have a bigger home in a better location, better amenities, better condition than your home? Is that possible?
Yeah.
Now, here's the good news. You can use this to your advantage. And here's how you use this against your advantage. Compete against inferior competition. Now, from 700 to 750, you have a bigger home. You have a better location. You have more amenities. Your home is in better condition. And it's not only possible, it's pretty much guaranteed that you're going to be one of the top 8 properties in this price range. So, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, let me just ask you a quick question. Do you have a better chance of selling your home in the next 30 days in this price range? Or do you have a better chance of selling your home in the next 30 days in this price range? Wait for the answer. Now, what do you think their answer is going to be? Somebody yell at me. Where do you have a better chance of selling your home? 7 to 750, competing against inferior competition, or 750 to 800, competing against homes that might be a little bigger, more updated, with more amenities?
7 to
7 to 750.
7 to
I agree.
750.
I agree with that. 100% I agree with that. Now, if we look at all of those properties between 7 and 750, and I erased it so I don't have it anymore. Well, how many homes did we have?
We had 3.
No, how many are active in that?
18.
18 homes.
770
18.
homes.
Thank you. So I have 18 properties that are currently for sale, and there's 6 selling every 30 days, or there was 8?
8.
8.
8 selling every 30 days. Awesome. So this side of the graph is price. And we go from high to low. And again, I'm just pulling out my legal pad and I'm drawing as I'm talking. This line is condition. And we move from great to poor. Now, the question is, where do you need to be in order to be one of the top 8? And the answer would be not here or here. If condition is poor and price is high, that's not going to make us one of the top 8 properties. If condition is great, we're over here, then our price could be maybe somewhere in the middle of this price range, and we're still going to be in the market because condition is great. But the more the condition moves to the right, the more this needs to come down.
Mhm.
Is that making sense?
Yes.
Yes.
In order to be one of the top 8 properties that are going to sell in the next 30 days, the more condition moves to the right on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being great and 1 being bulldoze your home and build a new house. That's for you guys. I would never say that at the kitchen table. And 1 not being great. That's what I would say at the kitchen table. If condition is a 10, then price can go higher and will still be one of the top 8. In other words, if condition is a 10, we can price 740 to 750, and we still have a really good chance of being the shining star. Remember the comparables that I showed you earlier. All right. Now, if condition is not a 10, if condition is a 5, then 740 to 750 is not going to make us one of the top 8 properties. We probably need to be somewhere between 725 and 730. Remember the comparables that I showed you. And they're going to say, but so-and-so's home sold for 755. And your response is, let's go back and look at that property. Now put that property in front of them and read the comments, how updated it is, location, how does it compare to their property, and just ask them if you could buy that home or you could buy your home. Which one would you buy? Now, if that home is more updated in a little better location and we want your home to be the one that sells, not that one, then how do we fix that? Starts with a P.
Price.
Price. Price fixes everything. Please write that down. Now, we're also going to look at these 21 properties or these 18 properties that are currently for sale. I'm going to put those 18 properties in front of them, and I'm going to ask them, if your home is priced at $750 and you're competing against these 18 other properties that are currently for sale, and they're priced anywhere from $700,000 to $749,000, you're at $750. Which home are you going to buy? Ask them. And if their home is not one of the homes, then price needs to come down. Now, if you're at $730 and you're competing against these 18 other properties, your home is nicer, it's bigger, it's a better location. Which home are you buying? Mine. I'm buying mine. Then absolutely, I agree with you. Now, based on all of the information that I just shared with you, what's the right strategy to get your home sold in the next 30 days so that you can be in Atlanta into September in order to start your new job? Clarissa, what's the right price?
The right price would be between $740 and $750.
Okay. I agree. Where do you want to start?
Let's start at $741.
You ready to get started?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. All right, there's a conversation. Talk to me. What'd you hear?
Know your numbers.
Oh my God, yes. Know your numbers. You are a local economist of choice. You are a strategic pricing professional. Share the data. Let the data do the heavy lifting. I never sold them on anything. All I did was share data and ask questions.
Yes, I do this on when I print it out, I do it printed out as a 3-up comparison. And you have the numbers. So you have each property side by side, and then I'll just put little notes on it and just show them the facts, like the same way that you're doing it. And then at the end, when you usually say, now what price do you think your home should be? And
Right.
usually every appointment that they thought it was 800 or more, I ends up being close to 700 as possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because numbers don't lie.
Numbers do not lie. Numbers tell a story. The path is in the math. Every business is a math equation. Boy, there's a lot of notes you could have just written down. Vicki, talk to us.
Yes, pricing is a skill and it's the strategy you need to sell your home.